Welcome back to our series on managing Power Automate Desktop on Windows. In this video, we'll be looking at how to manage Power Automate Desktop through SCCM. We'll be looking at how to create the installation package, how to upload it in SCCM, how to deploy the package, monitor, and then in general manage the lifecycle using the Ring deployment framework. Let's see this in action.
I'm going to run through the exact same test that I did on Intune with an SCCM version now. And we'll see that on this workstation, I'm running version 2.10 instead of 2.8, and I will be updating it to 2.11. The first part starts off very similarly to the Intune side of things. You'll want to have a test machine with psexec on it. You'll run psexec as system account in interactive mode. You'll then test the setup.powerautomate desktop install silent command to make sure that it works. Obviously, if you've already tested it for Intune and you're also deploying it on SCCM, you don't need to test it twice. But if you're setting up one or the other, you still need to do these prerequisite steps in order to capture, one, the path in the registry that we're going to be looking for it, and the display version number, so that way we can create the detection rules exactly like we would in Intune, but in this side it's going to be on SCCM. So assuming you did all that, you'll come over to your SCCM console. This is the console that you'll get when you first open up your SCCM console. Go ahead and browse to your software library, application management, and then applications. What I like to do is to create a specific folder for each application that I'm going to be deploying in SCCM. You do not need to do that. Technically, you could just have all your packages here, the root of applications. I just find it's nice to kind of separate them out if you have lots of apps that you're deploying through SCCM. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and upload the new installer to the sources folder where I store my installers. So let's grab that. I'll put the setup file in the sources folder. Now this is going to also be you'll want to use the fully qualified URL for the sources folder, because this is what we're actually going to supply into the application packaging tool in SCCM. So whereas in Intune, we first had to package it using the Win32 content prep tool, in SCCM, what we do is we put the setup folder on a network share that is available to SCCM, and it will grab it from the network share, and that's how it will create the package for us. So I'll go ahead and create a new application, and I'm just going to go ahead and say manually specify for now, and I'm going to go ahead and say Power Automate Desktop 2.11, and the publisher, I'm just going to put Microsoft, and for the software version, I'll put the software version. I can go ahead and just leave the localized application name the same, and just go ahead and click on Next. Now the deployment type is the actual package itself. So you'll notice in relation to the Intune side of things, some of these will look very similar. That's because they're roughly follow the same methodologies, I guess would be the right word. I'm going to go ahead and put in the correct name of the deployment type. Here, where content location is, I'm just going to go to my network share, grab this, copy and paste it in. You can also click Browse, and you can do it here as well, and browse to the share and then click on it. I just prefer to copy and paste it directly in, not have to go through those extra screens. So this is the path or the folder that I want to package up. And just like Intune Win32 content tool, it will package what's ever in this folder. So if you have transform files or XML files or accompanying files with the installer, they will all get packaged with the installer. So anything in this folder is going to get packaged. The installation program, similarly, is going to just be what I used here. And then the uninstall program is going to be directly out of the documentation. So very similar to Intune, you'll notice. Okay. This already is the detection method. So whereas we had a couple other screens where we determined like what types of workstations or were supported for this type of installation, this one goes straight to the detection method. So we're going to go ahead and add a clause. We're going to choose registry. We're going to choose local machine. The key that we're going to use is going to be this string here. And then we're going to do display version. And we're going to say that the registry setting must indicate the presence of the following app, or in order to indicate the presence of the application, the operator or the string type of display version must equal this value. And we're going to put it in as the display version that we captured earlier. Basically what this is going to do is it looks slightly differently to Intune because, you know, there's drop downs and stuff that we have to choose. But basically, it's the exact same thing. We're just saying HKey local machine, software, MSI product code, string must equal, you know, display version must equal 2.11.0051. Okay. We're going to install it for the system. This installs as the system account. And we're going to say only when a user is logged on are we going to install it. Now, in Intune, when we were choosing the installation program visibility, that happened at the end of the packaging process. And this one, it's kind of in the middle. So a normal means that the user is going to be prompted that the SCCM is making changes to a workstation. And hidden would be similar to the Intune one where we're hiding all notifications. So I'm just going to say normal for now. And then I'm going to say the maximum allowed runtime is if it's installing for more than 30 minutes, there's probably an issue. But the estimated installation time is probably going to be about less than 15 minutes. So 30-15 is pretty safe for Power Automate Desktop. At least in its current form. Okay, you'll remember that there was also requirements tab in Intune. There was no requirements in Intune. There are no requirements in SCCM either. If there were any other software that needed to be on the computer first, you could set it as a requirement and would install that in serial. So it would install it before it installed the actual application. But in this instance, it's really not important. And again, there are no dependencies for this deployment type. Okay, so that will actually create the product deployment type. And then I'll just go ahead and finish that package. Now, similarly to Intune, where we don't actually add an individual user or workstation to the application installer, we always do a group, or like an Office 365 group. In SCCM, we deploy things to what are called device collections or user collections. So you can think of the user collections similarly to the security groups in Intune, and I created the pad canaries, pad pilot devices, and pad all devices. And so you'll see in here, let's go ahead and add my workstation to an existing device collection, and we'll just add it to the pad canaries device collection. Now, if I target something to this specific device collection, because my workstation is a member of that kind of like Intune being a security group, because my user was it. Now that my workstation is a member of this group, if I deploy to this device collection, it will deploy the application. So next thing that I would want to do is I would want to first distribute my software installer to my distribution points. In this case, I only have one because this is a lab. And then I'll wait in order for this to go success 1. And one of the things that you can do to check to make sure that it's working properly is you can go to your monitoring tab and you can look at the distribution status, and you'll see here the information about the compliance of how your device has been distributed across all your distribution points. Since I'm only targeting one distribution point, it's only 0 of 1, and you can see right now 100% of my distribution points are in progress in updating that package. So this is where it actually creates the package, kind of like that Win32 content prep tool. This creates a hidden package in SCCM, which it then deploys to workstations as needed. Okay, so we can see it went ahead and it grabbed the information successfully from the network share and made it available. Now that it has been successfully deployed, I can actually set up a deployment now. And a deployment actually installs the application to a device collection. So I'll come here and I'll say deploy. And I'm going to go ahead and choose the device collection, Pad Canaries, which has my test device in it. It'll automatically pull up the content distribution point that I've already distributed to. I'm going to set this as required. So similarly to Intune, how there was both a required and an available, in SCCM, required will automatically install and available will make it available in the SCCM content self-service library, which I can show later. But for right now, I just want it to just install on my computer. So I'm going to set it as required. And then I'm going to choose the installation deadline just as soon as possible, similarly to what I did in Intune. User experience, go ahead and display in Software Center and show all notifications. This is again similar to getting notifications or toast to notifications on the workstation that SCCM needs to make changes to the device. So as you're deploying it to later device collections, you may want to change this to hide based on your own internal notification settings. But for now, I'm going to leave it as display because I like to see things as they happen. This is a very simple lab that I have set up. If you have installation deadlines set up, so that way you don't accidentally install software outside of maintenance windows and stuff like that, you can just click this checkbox, and basically that will ignore any maintenance windows that you have set up, and it'll immediately install at the soonest available time. So if you're testing for yourself, this is safe to go ahead and click on. All right, we don't need to set up any alerts in the system, so we'll just go ahead and finish the deployment. And then I'll move over to my workstation. Okay, now in order to get SCCM to automatically check in, similarly to how we did in Intune, where we restarted the service, we can go to the control panel, go to the configuration manager, and then we can go to actions and do the machine policy retrieval and evaluation cycle, and then the application deployment and evaluation cycle. Basically, what these two will do together is they will check for any new policies that have been assigned to this device, and you'll see that immediately Software Center notices that it did not detect Power Automate Desktop on my computer, so I get the toast notification that software changes are required, and it's going to automatically start trying to deploy Power Automate Desktop 2.11 to this workstation. Again, you do not have to go into Configuration Manager and run these manually. They happen on a schedule, but it's always nice to know how to force it to do it on command. So that way you, when you're doing tests to see if it is working or not. So I will check the task manager one more time, and I'll see if I can find the setup Power Automate desktop. There it is. It's running as system. And if I check programs, eventually this will update from 2.10 to 2.11. You can see I've got them side by side for right now. One thing I also forgot to mention is, similarly to Intune, you'll actually want to come in here and change your supersedence policies just like you would in Intune, and you'll want to supersede the old version of Power Automate Desktop just like you would in Intune. Forgot to do that earlier, so I'll just do it now. All right, and now we can see I have installation software completed successfully, and I'm running version 2.11.51.2.11.96. Similarly to Intune, where you can check monitoring, you would go to your monitoring tab on SCCM. We would go to your monitoring and your deployments. You could search for your Power Automate Desktop deployment, and you can get a compliance based on how many devices that you are applied to. Now, this is slightly faster than Intune as far as getting compliance information back from clients that have installed, but it's still not in absolute real time. So it may not go to 100% compliance immediately upon the device being installed, but if I were to run the summarization, basically that will update the monitoring tab to show me kind of what the current status is of this application. And you can say, boom, already it's showing me that it's been compliant on every device in my device collection. If there was any errors or anything like that, you could obviously come in here, double click on the deployment, and you could get more information about get like error codes or logs or anything like that about what happened on. So you go to error, and there would be an error here with like an error code that you could look up to find out what happened. Any additional troubleshooting, there's logs that get created on the workstation itself in the log folder of SCCM. But in this case, it was successful, so we don't need to do any of that. Also, just like SCCM, I deployed this first to the Canaries group. Once I've done all my testing here, I would create a new deployment, and I would do my pilot group. I would add, once all those devices were updated, I would then add my all devices group. Once I was sure that the handful of devices that I put in here all worked successfully, and I'm happy that there was no issues deploying it, then I would move on to the all devices. Now, again, you might have more than just 3, but for my demonstration, I only have three groups.
Thank you for watching this video on managing PAD through SCCM. As part of our series on managing PAD on Windows, in the next section, we will be looking at how to register Power Automate Desktop with the Power Automate service in a silent way without any user interaction.